Coaches, good afternoon. My name is Chaz Henry. Thanks for tuning in today. My function today as the founder of PowerChalk is to show you the new module that lets you give lessons with PowerChalk, specifically paid lessons. I'm sure most of you are familiar with PowerChalk. In fact, many of you have given lessons, but what you may not know is that in December we launched a new module that lets you advertise your coaching services and get paid online. So in fact, we built a complete process in PowerChalk that notifies you of the purchased lesson, leads you through the analysis, and gets you paid. So with that, let's look at our outline. So we're going to take about 30 minutes today. We're going to walk through it. We're going to go through the lesson overview, the demo. We're going to talk to you about being what's called a PowerChalk Pro, and specifically how to set up your Pro page, how to do promotion around that Pro page, and we'll talk about the financials of who gets paid and what, a couple tips on how to give the analysis itself, and then at the end I'm going to give you a promo code. As ASA Coaches, you're entitled to a 50% discount on a PowerChalk Gold account, which puts you in a position to give paid lessons. And as always, I'll be recording this and publishing it to PowerChalk.com. So with that, let's dive in. PowerChalk, a lot of you know it as a coaching platform that lets you coach your kids. What we found in the year of our association with amateur softball is that most of the coaches that are using it are in fact pro coaches, coaches that give pitching, hitting lessons and get paid. And so what we've done is we've really turned PowerChalk into a platform that lets you make money by giving remote lessons. One of the primary things that we've found with coaches is they want to maximize their day. A lot of coaches that have a facility or work out of a facility really don't start their day until 3 o'clock when the kids get out of school. So this is a way to work through the day, and it's by having kids submit lessons and be able to give those lessons all day long, literally at any time, to do a lesson and respond to that lesson by providing a video. So with that, a quick overview of PowerChalk. PowerChalk is cloud-based. So if I'm taking video from my camera, from my iPhone, from my Android, I push it into the cloud, and then I access it with my PC or Mac. There is also telestrators on the PC and Mac clients. So you have the ability to do your telestration there. But we believe the real pro analysis, the real split screen, detailed analysis comes from the PC or Mac apps, and that's what we're going to focus on today. So with that, let's talk about being a pro. So pro requirements are first that you have a gold account. And I'm going to switch over to my browser here. And you notice I'm logged in as Chaz Henry, and I have a pro page. Now I have a pro page because I have set up, through the upgrade page, I have bought a gold account. And you can buy those gold accounts for either $99 per year, or you can take if I'll scroll down here, you can take the $10 per month approach. And either way, it establishes you as a PowerChalk Pro, and from there you can, again, if I'll pull down my page here, I can set up a pro page. Now that pro page lets me put in my biography, my philosophy. It lets me, I can put in my Twitter feed, and I can start to tell my kids, the team that I coach or the players that I work with, to just follow me on PowerChalk. So that's really the basis of the system, is to set up a page and then have your kids follow you. Now, within that page, I can change the layout. So you notice here I've got a sample video that kind of shows my philosophy or shows me giving a lesson. So it previews what what my students will get. It's got my lesson fee on there. It's got my Twitter feed. And the way you establish that, the way you set that up is, once again, if I'll pull this down and I'll go into my profile and I'll go into settings. So these are my PowerChalk settings. I've got some basic settings. The very first tab is my dashboard, and my dashboard tells me what features I've bought, when those features expire. It also has some basic settings, and here is where I'd put in my biography and my philosophy. So you see here I've just got a sentence of each, some things about me, and here's the Pro Settings tab. The third tab is what really generates my Pro page. So looking at the Pro page, you'll see that I can create my own PowerChalk page. So not only can you get to this by finding me, in the search tab of PowerChalk, but you can get to this by coming directly to PowerChalk.com/Chaz Henry. So one of the things that we encourage you to do is to go ahead and stake out a URL on PowerChalk, and you can start to put that on your business cards. You can start to put that on your own website, and you can basically say, click here to buy a lesson. That can be on your site, and it's going to take them straight to that Pro page that I previewed earlier. I can reach into my locker, and I can set my sample lesson. So obviously I can set up my profile photo. I can also click this button, and I can go through my locker, and I can look at the videos that I've done in the past. And you see here I'm just scrolling through the videos, and I can find a chalk talk that I've done. So I'll reduce the list of videos down to just my chalk talks. And now here's a Bryce Harper stride mechanics video that I did. I can sort through those. Here's one that I did for Brandon on my 12U team, and I can set that as my sample video. So that's where the video that you saw on my Pro page was coming from. So I set those two things there, my photo, my sample video. I set up a PayPal account. This is how I get paid. When the student buys a lesson, they pay for it immediately. PowerChalk sends the lesson to the instructor. The instructor responds to the lesson, delivers the lesson, and then PowerChalk pays the instructor. So I set my lesson fee. I set the sports that I want to be advertised with. So you see here it's as easy as just picking the sports out of the list and putting them over on the right side. And of course you can put them back, take them away from the list in the same way. So I set those up. Here's where I set up my Twitter, my Facebook, my website, and then finally I say save and view. So at that point, when you process this third tab, that's when your Pro page gets generated. Now, it's slightly beyond the scope here, and you can work with us to customize your Pro page, but you can also, if you're technically inclined, you can click the Change Layout button, and you can go in and you can change what the system generated. So if you don't want, for example, your facility and location on your page, you can just chop it out right there. You can even drill down. You'll notice this button right here. If I hover over it, it says View Source Code. I can drop all the way from this high-level description of the page down into the HTML of the page. So here's where I could drop in a YouTube video. I could put in, if I've got a promotional video of my entire facility and it's on YouTube, I could go over to YouTube. I could get the embed codes from that YouTube video, and I could drop it right in here using HTML. So once I make those changes, you notice I took the facility out. It regens my Pro page, and that becomes the landing spot for people who come to PowerChalk.com/Chaz Henry. So again, there's my URL that I can give out and bring people straight to this page. Now when they get to this page, they can follow me, and that's the first thing I do. I tell all of the kids on my 12U team, go to PowerChalk.com/Chaz Henry and follow me. Because really what I'm doing there is I'm setting up a method where I push the content out to them instead of them needing to come to this page or come to my locker all the time and pull it. So anytime I do a public chalk talk or upload a public video, they're going to get a notice that I've got activity, and they can come to this page and see that activity. Now you'll notice another thing right now. I can toggle myself on or off. So if I'm taking a week off, I'm on vacation in Florida, I can suspend lessons, and then I can offer lessons. So you notice the system just changes my status to available for lessons. So I can toggle that back and forth. So again, that's my pro page. Let's take a look at the process flow, how this really works for the student. So as you know, we encourage students to get a locker, to go get a free locker, and to start to upload their swings and pitches, just like a coach would. So one of the concepts of PowerChalk, this is not just a coaching tool. This is a tool for everyone. And in this case, in my locker, I've got pitches and swings, golf, basketball. I've got a lot of different content. In the case of your athletes, it's going to be a much more consistent list. So in this case, it would probably be their own pitches and swings. But you'll notice next to every video that's just a raw video clip, this one's a 6-second clip of Addy pitching, there's a Get a Lesson button. So all I need to do, if I'm Addy's parents, all I need to do is click Get a Lesson, and it's going to take me straight to a process by which I see all of the professional coaches. So now I've selected the video. I've done step 1, and all I've got to do is select my pro, and with keywords Ryan, I reduced the whole thing down to Ryan H and Ryan M here. So again, you can see that I can use keywords. I can use my zip code, 27511. And basically what I'm saying here is I'm not concerned with who I get, but I want to find someone within 50 miles of my house, because if I connect with them, then I'll want to do follow-up lessons. Now you notice here I have not eliminated, or I have not reduced this by sport. What's more typical is your student would come in here and find you based on using your sport as well. So if I do that and click sport, then it reduces this down to 2. So again, 2 ways to do this. First of all, setting up your pro page is going to get you in the list. That's something you want to do immediately. But you also want to bring students directly to your pro page. And basically, if they go to your pro page and they click Buy a Lesson, they've already selected their pro. So once I do this, let me select Katie Cochran here as my pro. And now it says Notes for Katie, and I say need help doing ... I put in my note, and then it takes me to my cart. So what your student will get is a 3-step process. Pick the video, pick your pro, send the pro a note, and then pay now. So again, that's all that's required for them to send you the video and pay now. So now let's take the perspective of the coach. So you notice I didn't click pay. So we didn't follow that up, but let's take one where Jacob Crisp, internally, Jacob's one of our guys, Jacob took that same video and sent it to me as a lesson. So I've now got my pro hat on. Let's look at the process for the pro. So as a pro, I go to my lessons folder. So again, all of this is located under the videos tab. I go to my lessons folder and I click on new. Now as a pro, I would have also gotten an email that says Jacob, in this case, Jacob acting on the behalf of Addy, has sent me a lesson. He says, hey coach, having trouble hitting the strike zone. My 2 choices, and this is what the new module does, my 2 choices, what PowerChalk does is it leads you through the process. So my choices right now are either accept or decline. I can decline this lesson, and they'll send a note back to the student saying that the coach was unavailable to give this lesson at this time. But what I'm going to do is accept this lesson. So when I accept the lesson, my buttons change. You'll notice the log. This is keeping a log of all the activity, and it says at 1:44 I accepted the lesson, and now my option changes to my only option, which is Chalk Talk the submitted video. So again, the system is going to lead me step by step through the process of delivering this lesson. So by clicking Chalk Talk the submitted video, it takes me straight in to the browser-based Chalk Talk Telestrator, and it loads Addy's video. So I, as a coach, can grab the playhead here. We're not going to talk a lot about the mechanics of the Telestrator, But as you coaches know, I can grab the playhead, I can just drag it. Now, this video has also been keyframed. So we've set up where the stride foot comes up, where the circle starts, where the circle reaches parallel, the positions of the windmill. We've saved all that off. Now, as a pro coach, what I probably want to do is load a B video, go into my favorites, because I have favorited and tend to use Jordan Taylor as the example to put my kids against. So I've got in my locker, I've got from the ASA library, I've got clips of athletes hitting and pitching that I tend to compare against. And now, because that video has also been keyframed, you'll notice the 12 positions have already been defined there. I'll lock these two together and I'll just jump them to frame one. So now I'm going to say record video. And again, I'm going pretty fast here, but assume that I've gone through Addie's motion. I've seen a couple things that I want to show her, especially in comparison to Jordan Taylor. And I've turned the recording on, and now I'll jump to frame 2, which is the stride foot up. Now, I can either go frame by frame here, and I can grab my tools and start to draw, and I can draw and talk about, feet position and compare the strides. So I'll wind my way through this. I'll jump to key positions. I'll grab my pencil and make comparisons, and then finally I say done. And in this case, I just fill in the header, and I say, Addie, this is a lesson, and let's call it footwork. So if I focused on footwork here, and I'd put some tags, which is softball, and maybe I put my Chaz Henry in there because I want it to be listed. I'll say this is a softball video, and it's public. So once I fill in all of that and I say done, it saves it off to the server, and then it comes back to me and says, you've got two choices, Chaz. It's leading me through the process. It knows this is a lesson. This is not just an independent chalk talk. This is a lesson. And it says your analysis session has been saved and attached to lesson 1048 here. Your choices are to chalk talk this again. So maybe I just click chalk talk again, and I take Addie through upper body, the windmill, a different aspect of the pitch, or I return to the lesson details. So let's do that. So I click return to lesson details. It takes me back to my lesson cue. And at that point, you notice that I'm on the lesson again, and there's a chalk talk rendering. So the chalk talk we just finished is rendering, and I now have two choices. Chalk talk the submitted video again. So I could come back into the same lesson tomorrow, and I'd be right back to here. Chalk talk the submitted video, or deliver the lesson. Now technically I have three choices, because you'll notice down here, if I hover over attach, it says attach additional videos to the lesson. So let's assume that as a coach, I have prepared 10 different videos, and they're about stride, they're about core strength. Some of them may not be the pitching motion itself, but I have some exercises that you do to lengthen your stride or to gain better balance or core strength. So what I'll do here to demonstrate that, I'll just click attach videos. And once again, it takes me to my locker, and I can move to my favorites, and I can search there. And in my favorites, I can look for videos that I think are complementary to this lesson that I'm going to deliver to Addie, and I'll say attach this one. Obviously this is a baseball pitcher, so it's not completely germane, but you get the idea. I can go through my library, and I can find videos that I have favorited, or I have created, and I can attach them to this lesson. So you notice I've picked two out of my locker. I've attached to the lesson, and now when I go back to the lesson, now when I say take me back to the lesson, I'm done, you'll notice that this lesson has 3 videos attached to it. So what I'm doing is I'm really building up a list of videos, for Addie and her parents to watch in response to the lesson that she's bought. So at that point, I would probably click deliver lesson, And again, I could do more chalk talks about ADDIE specifically, and I could add those, so I could have a fourth, a fifth. You basically respond to the video and deliver the lesson. And at that point, ADDIE will get an email with those 3 links, and she can watch that on her iPhone, she can watch that on her Android, and obviously she can share those videos, as she sees fit. So that's really the process. We've gone through it really from front to back, from both the athlete's perspective, athlete or parent who bought the lesson, and now from the coach's perspective who has stepped through and used our system to step through the lesson and do a chalk talk and deliver that lesson. So with that, let's review our outline here. We've talked about your page customization. Again, you can take the high-level tokens and you can type in directly, or you can take away, like I did, the facility. We've customized our page. If you have a YouTube video and you want to drop it in the page, I'll reference you here with a quick graphic. I'll reference you to, this is the bottom of the YouTube video itself. So underneath your YouTube video, you can hit the share button and you'll get the embed codes. Now you can say, I want to drop this in a web page, or a blog as 420 by 315. You can drop it in as 480. So you pick the view parameters, and then the system will generate this code. So this code that's highlighted in blue, you would simply cut and paste that and drop it in to your pro page on PowerChalk. Again, we encourage you, once you set up your pro page, once you get your gold account, you set up your pro page, to link that pro page from your business cards or from your web pages and to put it on your business cards. If you need any help at all in generating these pages, just reach out to us at this phone number or directly to Jacob at PowerChalk.com. Again, just to review, we've gone through it from the athlete's perspective. Quick summary: the athlete buys the lesson, he picks a video, he picks the coach, he pins a note, and pays. If you as a coach send him directly to your pro page, then number 2 is done. And it will simply then prompt them for a video and a note and then let them pay. You on your side basically then just follow the steps. You go up to the lessons folder and follow the steps to process that lesson. Now, as far as pricing, we leave it to you in the setup of your pro page to put your own price to it. We've got golf pros, for example, that are going to member guest tournaments, and they're giving away lessons to get long-term customers. So they're basically sitting there and filming everyone who tees off on a par 3 and then delivering those golfers a 3-minute lesson as almost a sampler. It's almost like a sampler cup of coffee to sell you a subscription to get coffee every day. So that's really your call as to what to charge. It's also your call as to how many response videos, whether I do 1, 2, or 3. As you know, the videos are limited to 8 minutes, but that's not a hard and fast limit because I can pull that video up twice and I can talk to you about footwork and then upper body. So I can really give you as many videos, I can attach as many videos as I see fit to give this particular lesson. Highly encourage the coaches out there to use model videos, to go through the ASA library, find a drag bunt, find a slap hit, find the pitch, even try to match the body types. Short and stocky versus long and tall. Find the body type that matches up to your athlete, that provides the best example, because that's really what we're trying to do, trying to help our kids model, professional mechanics. As far as the fee structure, PowerChalk, in order to process the video, in order to create 4 copies of it, that run on an Android, an iPhone, we take $3 plus 0.069 plus 6.9% of the lesson fee. So obviously there's a cost to delivering these lessons, but it's really up to you as to what price you set up and how you charge. We also have cards available, and these cards are brand new, that convey a lesson. So if you're running camps, you're running clinics, and you want to sell these at the counter of your facility, or if you want to, make them part of the camp, then we've got a deal on the cards, which basically cover only the lesson commission, and they also give your student a full account, a full PowerChalk account, so they have more room, more locker room, in order to capture their video and send it up to you for analysis. So my last slide before we talk about the promo code is, again, on analysis tips. If you're doing the filming, if these are filmed at your facility, then you want to fill the frame. I mean, you don't want your student to be 1 inch tall in a 4-inch video. You want that student to be 2.5 or 3 inches tall, so you got the bat, you got all the detail that you need to fill the frame. We also encourage you to film orthogonal. Film face into the batter, face into the pitcher, or down the line. And by down the line, I mean if it's a batter, you'd have an umpire's view. Because orthogonal views let me draw a line in back of your hips and see whether or not there's sway. If I take a 3/4 view on an athlete, I can't tell if they're swaying or not. I can't tell if when their hands really reach the maximum back, when they get the furthest back. So you want to get good orthogonal views. Again, highly encourage you to use a model. Pros are pros for a reason. Success leaves clues, and these models become great examples. Kids have an instinct for modeling behavior. Me as a kid, I used to be able to, mimic all of my favorite Reds and Dodgers players, all of their batting styles, all of their pitching styles, and modeling good mechanics leads to good mechanics. As far as the videos themselves, we encourage you to find the good. I mean, there's an adage that you've got 5 fingers, and you say, attaboy, attagirl, attaboy, attagirl, 4 good things. Hey, I like what you're doing here. I like what you're doing here. If I could give you one thing to work on, here's what it would be. So you may want to find some things that your athletes are doing good, and then give them one correction at a time. Let's get your hands a little higher, and let's, send me some videos with your hands in this new position. Let's see how that affects the outcome, and let's go from there. We didn't talk about titles. There's a whole new titling system. I'm running up against my 30 minutes here, so I won't go into titles. I'll make that another session. But we've got a whole new titling system where within the Telestrator you can set up your titles, and you can pop those titles onto the video, and they will show on the video itself. So again, I won't go into great detail, but if I click title on and then I pick title 9, it's going to put my title right on the video. So we strongly encourage you to promote yourself and your services by saying, hey, here's your lesson. By all means, send me some more video. I want to keep working with you specifically on this and this, and just go straight to PowerChalk.com/Chaz Henry, and let's keep working together. So that's a way to quickly, this is a much improved, notice I've got step 1, step 2, and step 3 pre-saved in these slots, so it's now as easy as going in and changing your colors, turning titles on and off right from the main menu. So that's a quick rundown on titles. And then also using keyframes. There's help videos out on our site about keyframes and your ability to use keyframes to jump to, and especially these pro videos that we've got that are available to you as coaches, they were filmed at 60 frames a second. If you shoot video with your iPhone, it will be filmed at 30 frames a second. So if I go frame by frame, they're not going to match up perfectly. If I keyframe both videos, then I can jump to stride foot up. I can jump to windmill at 6 o'clock, windmill at 9 o'clock. I can jump to those and really key in on frames that are going to match perfectly to my model. So with that, again, step 1 is to get yourself a gold account, become a pro coach, go up into the settings panel and set up your pro page so you start to show up to be selected by your students as a paid coach. If you'll use the promo code ASA Pro 50, you'll get half off of the pro account. So my $99 account here went to $49.95. So if you're not already a pro coach, now this promo code does not apply to the monthly. Monthly is still $10 per month, but if you're looking to buy a year of gold, which sets you up to be a pro, use the code ASA Pro 50. So with that, I'm right at 30 minutes. Coaches, once again, I appreciate you tuning in today. If you've got questions, by all means, follow up with us at that phone number or directly to Jacob at PowerChalk. Thanks for tuning in.